Alrighty, here we go, chat. Siri, what's the best peeing shoe? It's definitely the Sambas. 100 sub goal. Buy me a pair of Sambas so I can speed run the bathroom with more efficiency. Chat. And this one's going up on YouTube. So everybody say hello to the YouTube Martys. Okay. This, my friends, is the kitchen utensil tier list. This is not including any appliances, blender, oven, fridge, nothing. This is only utensils. There are some hidden in this bottom right-hand corner here. However, the ones that you can see here are pretty obvious. We got some easy ones. Cast iron pan. There's some funky ones that we will get into. Okay, this came about because I was arguing with a mutual. They were arguing that chopsticks are not the utensil, like they're not an S tier utensil. And I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if that's the truth. I disagree completely as I update the stream. And we'll get into it, okay? Cast iron pan. Now, the cast iron pan, it does, I think some would easily throw it into the dopamine tier. Oh, I didn't even introduce the tiers. What a dummy. Our 5 tiers. Dopamine, when I'm using it, is it providing me the most dopamine of any utensil that could replace it? Chefing, you be in the kitchen, you be chefing. You know how it is. Daily use, it's pretty good. You use it all the time, but it's not fantastic. Can be fun, I guess. And idiot sandwich. Okay, with that being said, we move on. Okay. I think some would be very quick to throw the cast iron pan in the dopamine category. However, it's a pain in the ass to clean, and you have to have some kind of cooking skill to be proficient with it. I feel like you couldn't give this to a beginner and say cook, because it would burn really easily. However, I think for its purpose, it's the best at getting a hard sear, a hard crust. So for that reason, I put it in the chefing category. However, I think you could argue it could be moved into the dopamine category for this reason. After, and you probably shouldn't do this to maintain the structural integrity of the pan. However, if you put a screaming hot cast iron underwater, you feel like a blacksmith, so that's pretty cool. But we put it in the chefing. We could revisit it. We'll see. A chef's knife. I think there's a clear distinction between a chef's knife and other knives that we have. Chef knife is the S of S tiers. It's a dopamine utensil. It's used all across the world in culinary avenues. You might even have one yourself. It might be blunt, but how else are you cutting up your mise en place? Okay, how are you getting your carrots, your onions, and your celery ready for your soups? The Holy Trinity. Guess what? You're using a chef's knife. Okay, we're dicing, we're slicing, we're julienning. It's dopamine without a shadow of a doubt. Chopsticks. Now this is a controversial one. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that chopsticks are an S tier. They're the best eating utensil, save one other that we will get to later in this list. And here's the reason. I've seen a lot of folks, I looked through some utensil tier lists, believe it or not, before this. Some folks had this in the C tier, even the D tier. And to that, I say skill diff. If you are poo-pooing the chopsticks, it's because you have no skill and no talent. Okay? Forks, spoons, etc. are chopsticks with training wheels. And this is not even coming, I live in a Western society. I would rate my chopstick proficiency a 7 out of 10. They're better than forks. They're better than Anything to manipulate solid food, it's 110% an S tier. You say any different, you have no skill. Sorry. This is a cocktail stick. It's different than a, this is a toothpick. This is a skewer. This is a cocktail stick at a party. You put little pigs in a blanket. Little, maybe sometimes you can put a little Bellini with caviar if you're a bougie type of Marty. This can be fun, I guess. There's no two ways about it. It's not a daily user unless you are daily commuting using the Titan sub. But when you're at a party, oh wow, this is fun. It's got some novelty. Can be fun, I guess, without a shadow of a doubt. We'll get to toothpicks when and skewers we'll get to later. Corkscrew. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna put it in the can be fun, I guess, because I don't feel like you can put it in idiot sandwich because some people use it a lot. I personally never use it. At least has a bottle opener. You can use it to open wine primarily. I don't drink wine, so that's all I can really say, right? Anyways, this is for crushing crab legs. This is an idiot sandwich. I'm sorry. If your favorite utensil is the crab claw cruncher, the triple C, you are absolutely out of your mind. Cuckoo crazy. Triple C. You could just take your chef's knife, flip it upside down, and give it a couple whacks, and the meat will come right out. You don't even need this. It's enough. Fork. This is going to be a controversial. This is probably the second biggest controversial one after chopsticks. I would put a fork in the daily use, aka the C tier. And here's my reasoning, chat. Whatever the fork can do, the chopstick does better. Quite frankly, it just does it better. I think if you're in a Western house, here's a fork, here's a spoon. I think the spoon is superior for its own reasons, which we'll get into momentarily. You have to put in more work to skewer the food. Then you're like, oh, you got noodles, it's flipping all off of the fork. Then the worst one, fork is in your mouth and you bite it. Fork is a daily user. I'm not gonna poo-poo its usage. It's a C tier for me, dog. The funnel. The funnel I'm gonna put in the can be fun, I guess, because it has some positive attributes. You are using it to refill your mason jars with your homemade applesauce. I don't fucking know, okay? You can use it to reduce the cleanup that you have at the end. It's good for measuring, it's good for cleaning. Efficiency as well. I'm starting to talk myself up to daily use, but in my heart of hearts, I just know it can't be. The cheese grater. Now, cheese grater. I think I'm gonna put the cheese grater in the can be fun, I guess. It could be go up to daily use just based on this. If you use all four sides of the cheese grater, it can go up to daily use. It could even go up to chefing. I'll give it that. However, you, me, the Marty at home, we all know the cheese grater is primarily used for this surface that we are facing here to shred cheese. Oh, I shred lettuce. Oh, sometimes I shred zucchini to put in zucchini loaf. Okay, cut the shit. This is a cheese grater. You use it to grate cheese. That's it. So for there, it can be fun because the following dishes, lasagna, pizza, etc., are pretty dopamine. Hands. And Leafy, you make a great point here that it's so hard to clean. You are pulling out a compass to determine which direction you can actually start scrubbing. Also, when you're grating the cheese and you get to a nub that's like that big and you're risking shaving your fingertips off, that goes against it. So I think it can be pretty fun. It's always a good time when it comes out, but it has a nasty streak. Hands. Again, I'm from a Western society, so we don't typically eat with our hands. However, There's no debating it. Hands are the most S tier dopamine utensil just in terms of eating, because this is all you need. I think it can get a little iffy in terms of personal hygiene when you're putting your fingers all the way down your mouth. However, we eat sandwiches, pizza, we eat lots with our hands, and we've just determined that spaghetti cannot be done via hand consumption. Who am I to say? Who am I, the judge, the jury, and the deliverer on what you can eat with your hands? And if you say that hands are anything less than S tier, you are either, you live in a bubble and you only think that you think America is the only country in the world, or you don't have any coordination over your hands. There's no two ways about it. Hands are S tier. Moving on. Honey dipper is our second in the idiot sandwich. I think growing up, I had an idea that honey dippers were prevalent in the community just based on Honey Nut Cheerios commercials. However, this is a one-way ticket to making your hands, your table, and your dish sticky. These days, who does not have honey? Let me take it further. Who doesn't buy a jar of honey with a squeezer, use it once, put it in the pantry for 6 weeks, come back, oh no, the honey is solidified, how am I gonna use this? That's the honey line, okay? There's no way that you're out here with your handmade artisan honey bowl and you're dipping your honey dipper into it. It's an idiot sandwich and we're moving on. Okay, this is another one that I think I might get some flack for. This is an ice cream scoop. I'm specifically going to say this. This is the honey scoop, or the honey scoop. This is the ice cream scoop, but it has the clicking, so you can scoop and then you click and it makes the ice cream shapes. This is a chefing tool. By God, I might even say dopamine, but you can't compare these three to here. However, this, you could use it for ice cream, mashed potatoes, you can meal prep with it, you can scoop cookies with it, you can bake with it. It's multifaceted. People see ice cream and they are closed-minded. No, absolutely not. I think this, all you need to know about this ice cream scoop is the sound. Money. We're chefing, baby. Plus, you ever try to make an ice cream cone with one of the clunky MFs that you just scoop the ice cream with and then kind of fling it off? Those are garbage. That's enough to move this into the chefing category. By far. Okay. KitchenAid mixer is an S tier. If you disagree, you don't have one and you're broke. Just like me. But this is, you can bake bread. You can't bake with it per se, but you can mix bread. You can make pasta. We can bake savory, sweet. It does it all. The only drawback is its price tag, but that sounds like a you problem. Butter knife. I'm gonna put in the daily use. I'm just kind of over the whole, oh, what do you want to eat with? A fork and knife? No, I kind of want to eat with the chopsticks and the chef knife, to be completely honest. I think butter knife is an acceptable placement here. It has very few usages other than spreading. You don't really typically cut with it too much unless you have taken, you make your sandwich and you put it on top of the jar of Dijon mustard like this. And then you realize you haven't cut your sandwich. You take it off and you cut the sandwich with the Dijon knife. That's the only time I can see it being used to cut. So daily use, it's fine, neither here nor there. It's a necessity that you kind of have to use. You could I spread with the back of a spoon. It's really weird. It's just more of a convenience thing. So you can find alternatives to a butter knife. Serrated knife. You could use a steak knife. This is kind of replaceable, but people use it a lot and I respect that and I understand that. Ladle. Ladle, I'm gonna put in daily use. You can't compare a ladle to a cocktail stick per se. However, when you need a big spoon you're getting soup, chili, usually that's probably it. Any soups or stews, you're using a ladle. Because if you use a shallow, maybe a slotted spoon, which is thankfully not on here, I think the ladle is great. However, I think some may say chefing. However, I think it's just an illusion. You just think that you're a chef when you're using the ladle. But have you ever tried to ladle and then you have to extend your arm and then rotate it at an exact 90 degrees for the ladle not to make a mess? The ladle do be messy. So for that reason, I am in the daily use category. It does get used in our household roughly 2 to 3 times a week. This is a melon baller. The only reason this is on this list is because Wikipedia has it listed as a utensil. I put it in the idiot sandwich. Ladle skill diff. Whoa, okay, ladle skill diff. Ladle has a high skill ceiling, but a low skill floor. Oh, I might have been swayed. Ladle skill diff. You know what? I'm revisiting the ladle. Okay, we're gonna leave the ladle in daily use. We're gonna come back and revisit any ones that are a little iffy. Ladle is a TBD. Melon baller. If your favorite utensil, chat, I'm reaching out here. If your favorite utensil is the melon baller, we're gonna have some problems. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If your favorite utensil is the melon baller, that means that you make more in a month than I make in a year, and we just are not compatible. For that reason, idiot sandwich. This is a pan. Just not a cast iron, it's just a regular old pan. Dopamine. Oh, maybe. No. And we'll get into it in a moment. And this might be one we revisit as well. However, I think the pan is definitely chefing tier because we use it every day. Every culture cooks with it. It's used in restaurants across the globe. Instant ban. Yeah, if you come in chat and you're like, hey, where's your melon baller? Timeout. Okay? Technical foul, ejection. I think that the pan, I don't think it's dopamine. Because I think there's other forms of pans that are more dopamine than it. Unfortunate apples to apples comparison. However, it's very versatile. Sweet, savory. You can stir fry. You could technically shallow fry in here as well. I would not advise it if you're in a residential home. So this one is a bit iffy. It could go up to dopamine. However, I think I put it in chefing for now. We revisit it like we revisit the ladle. Fair? Fair. This is a pot. This is a pot. I'm also gonna put it in the chefing category. It's just so boring. Have you ever, I've never really gotten like pots and pans, but have you seen like The Price is Right? And it's like, oh, you win a new pot set. And it's like, okay, cool. I wish I got like the jet ski, but the pots are really usable and they're very convenient, one could say, but it doesn't give me dopamine. Also, they're a little hard to clean and they're a bitch to store if you have a bunch of them. Maybe this might be my bias, but when I am reaching for the pot in my house, I have to bend down to the bottom. I usually get it with one hand, so it's causing some tension on my wrist and my forearm muscles. I think it's chefing. You boil, you make pasta, boil water, make soups and stews, whatever. Chefing. Okay, this is a potato peeler. If you have one of the little potato peelers that they give you in the army, I would say it's probably in like a can be fun, I guess. If you have a dopamine pogged peeler like this, number one, you watch Hell's Kitchen, which means I have a baseline 3 out of 10 level of attraction for you. If you have a handheld peeler like this, you are a Chad. This is dopamine tier because you know what the frick you're doing. You probably cook and you have a small thing of compostable on your counter. So as you finish, you put the compost in the bowl to remove it later. This If you don't have this potato peeler here, I don't know what to tell you. Recommend season 1 through 21 of Hell's Kitchen. You can find it on Amazon Prime. Educate yourself. Moving on. This is a skewer. All right, the skewer. The skewer, and I'm gonna be completely honest here. If you don't have this potato peeler, you're an only child. You came from, I can't say you, yeah, ooh. No, yeah, your mom didn't ever cook for you. Sorry. Look, skewer, it's an idiot sandwich, quite frankly. They get burnt, they get charred, splintery. They often will, like, small pieces of wood will peel off to the side. If you know, you know. I just feel like, what do you have to cook on a skewer that you can't cook in other means? Oh, but you can have vegetable skewers. Okay, let me just checkmate you in 5 moves. You're gonna cook onions, peppers, zucchini, mushrooms, and some kind of meat on one skewer. Guess what, MF? They're all different cooking times. So then you have burnt onion, you have mushy zucchini, and then you have a charred piece of meat that isn't even fucking cooked on the inside, okay? Cook them all separately, and then you can combine them. So skewers are a freaking bottom tier utensil for damn sure. Allow me a sip after that one. Okay. Chat makes a good point here, that there are some cultural differences I may be missing. Chicken satay, perchance. However, as this is my list, I have to preface, I don't eat meat. So I don't typically use skewers for anything other than vegetable skewers. So I think we could argue it could be fun, I guess, but I'm yet to see a human being who was like, oh, a skewer, that's pretty fun. However, you pull out, you know what? I'm gonna end the argument why it's idiot sandwich right now. Your partner opens up the drawer, they pull out the corkscrew. You know it's wine o'clock. That's a little dopamine, and that is enough dopamine to move the corkscrew into can be fun. However, my partner pulls out the skewers, and I kind of go, oh, what are we doing? Idiot sandwich. The rolling pin. The rolling pin is a chefing tool, without a shadow of a doubt. The only reason I have issues with this, if you have a bad quality one, they often break. Stuff gets stuck to it. You do need some physical space to use it. So if you're in a small apartment or you're in a shared kitchen, it can be a little bit iffy to just be almost what is bench pressing. Also, I feel like you could do the job of a rolling pin with your hands. Me personally, how often do I use a rolling pin? I would say roughly once a week. We eat a lot of pizza. We got a pizza stone, so I'm rolling out, pizza crust. It's also used in sweet applications as well. Rolling pin is used in a lot of sweet applications. It's not used as much as a pot or pan per se, but think about the alternatives. Maybe you're using a mason jar, or maybe you are using your hands, or something that has a width but not a height. I just think every time you're using that, you're thinking, man, I wish I had a rolling pin. Rolling pin it'll be. How many we got left here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 11. Ooh, we're right on sketch, baby. This is a food scraper. And this is another one that's going to separate the haves from the have-nots. The food scraper is a dopamine utensil. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what is a food scraper? If you don't have one, let me educate you. Okay? You are... There you go. You've just diced your onions. How are you going to get them off the cutting board? Do you use your knife? Well, it's a little unsafe because you're going to push them. You might cut yourself. Food scraper, you scrape it all up with a food scraper and then into the bowl. Okay? It's a chef's tool. It's versatile, sweet, savory. You can use it to cut dough. You can use it to fold in sticky dough that doesn't have enough flour. Sweet, savory. This John does it all. It's a dopamine. Plus, if you have this, that means that you be a semi-professional chef already. Moving on. This is a colander, also known as a sieve. It's a daily use. It's kind of cruddy when you drain pasta into it. The pasta gets stuck in it. It's kind of a drag to clean. You'll flip it over. Food scraper means you've worked kitchen before. Big time. Big time. We've all done it. You have a colander. You've poured your pasta in. Take the pasta out. Then you flip the colander over and put the kitchen sink on the spray shower setting. And you try and hit the pasta out of the pieces of the sieve. It's a whole battle. Honestly, I think it's a daily use. It's good for what it does, but until then, there's no way it's chefing. Everybody has one. It's all right. It's a daily user. Soup spoon. This is a dopamine. Have you ever tried to eat soup with this type of spoon? With this Marty? Look. Hey, Mom, can we get a soup spoon? No, sweetie, we have soup spoon at home. There's no comparison here. Zero comparison. This is elite. You can get chunks of meat, chunks of tofu, vegetables, anything you need. This is used to, I don't know, nothing. There's nothing that this spoon does better than this, other than be packaged with single serve ice cream in wooden form at elementary schools. This soup spoon is elite. Moving on. I'm very passionate about some utensils here. Okay. This is a spatula. This is a spatula. You can't eat cereal with a soup spoon? You can. You literally can. Anything that can be eaten with a regular spoon can be eaten with a soup spoon. What is cereal, if not cold soup? Yeah, can't argue with that one, can ya? Spatula. Now, spatula is a chefing. It's a necessary evil. Metal, plastic, slotted, solid. It does it all. You see the dad with the New Balances and the jorts outside at the grill. They got one of these, along with a pair of tongs, which we'll get into later. Flips burgers, flips anything. The flipping tool. Hey babe, can you pass me the utensil to flip something? And you and I both know, close your eyes here, the utensil used for flipping food. It's a spatula. However, you could close your eyes and I could say the utensil used to pick up food. It could be fork, it could be spoon, it could be chopstick, it could be your hands. Okay? This is the only one that does it. Technically, you could do it with chopsticks, but like, it's a chefing tool. Toothpicks. If you're using, and we're not arguing toothpicks in terms of its usage for your teeth. I don't think that's what we're arguing here. I do think that toothpicks in terms of utensils for food are idiot sandwich, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay? Anything that this can do, the cocktail pick does better. These are just smaller and a little bit more transportable, but that means that there's a higher chance that it gets lodged in your windpipe and you die. So these are idiot sandwich. And if you think so, if you disagree, you can catch these hands for real, for real. Spoon. You're probably seeing a pattern. Fork, spoon, and knife. They're a trio. You know, they're the Powerpuff Girls. They're good. They're mid. You can eat with them. Is your eating experience, is it a positive one all the time? Maybe. It could be a little tedious with the spoon, the fork. Shit's falling off. You're eating soup. Oh no, I only got one noodle. I wish I had a soup spoon. Okay. Comparisons, it's a no-brainer. It's a daily use. If I had to say though, if I'm ranking them in the rankings, spoon is above fork. I'm a spoon Marty. I'm not a fork type of guy. Okay? Because I don't want to battle with, you're eating mac and cheese. You're going to stab it with a fork? No, that means you're scooping it with the fork. Why would you scoop with the fork when the spoon is superior at scooping? So I think spoon over fork. 5 more, chat. 5 more, chat. We're making our way through. This is a, okay. This is a disposable utensil. It's a catch-all spoon, fork, knife, straw. This is idiot sandwich. Number 1, it's bad for the environment. Number 2, mouthfeel, which we haven't even touched on yet, is just completely garbage. You try to eat anything with a plastic spoon, you're cutting the sides of your mouth like you're the freaking Joker. Okay? Number 3, have you ever tried to scoop something frozen with a plastic spoon? It's called Snap City. Try it sometime. Any disposable, okay, plastic or paper straws, both idiot sandwiches. And this is a guy who has reusable straws at all times. Plastic straws are not the move. Also, as an aside, you are not the reason that the turtles are dying. It's big Coca-Cola. So have your plastic straw if you want it. Anyways, moving on. These are if there was something below idiot sandwich, these would be in it. However, I've administered 5 tiers, so that's where we are. This is the reusable straw. I think it's chefing. The only reason I don't have it in dopamine, it's a little hard to clean. It's very portable, but also you can't really port it around after it's been sullied unless you have a lid. This is a pretty tall mug. I could tuck this in and put a lid on top. That's fine. But some don't have this, and this is a barrier to entry for some, and I respect that. Plus, its only use is to drink. Whereas these have multi-uses. Chefing, I think, is fair. Tongs. Tongs, and this is another bold one here. Tongs, I'm gonna put in the can be fun, I guess, category. Now, tongs are not a daily user by any means. You're typically using them when you're grilling, when you're kind of clicking the tongs together. I think that anything that you need tongs for, you can find other tools. If you're getting something hot out of the oven, you just use an oven mitt. What, are you scared? Are you scared of the heat? Well, if you're scared of the heat, you should probably not use tongs. You should probably ask your mom to open the oven for you and cook your dinosaur chicken nuggets. Plus, tongs, a lot of tongs have that weird, there's like a piece of metal that you slide up and down that keeps the tongs compressed. And that always be fucking me up when I'm using them. Because when you go to pick something up, you typically put them upside down. And then it slides down, you clamp, it slides down, you try and open it, it doesn't work. Tongs are super S tier. All right, chat. Leafy, I'd love to hear your argument on why tongs are S tier. Anything you can flip or manipulate with tongs, there is a smaller, more discreet, cheaper, safer, more reliable option to do so. I pick up dinosaur chicken nuggies with my tongs. True, 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 true. That's the biggest thing I miss about not eating meat is the chicky nuggies. Chicky nuggies. All right, we're down to 2, chat, and then we're gonna have to revisit the ladle. Whisk. Now, whisk, I think whisk is chefing. I don't think you use whisk as much as you think you use whisk. However, I think that there's nothing that does the job of a whisk better than a whisk. Have you ever tried whisking something together with a fork? The only reason, and look and reflect inwards, the only reason that you do not use a whisk and you use a fork instead is because it's a pain in the ass to clean. The whisk is a pain in the ass to clean, and that's why it's not dopamine, but there's nothing that does it better than a whisk, so it's chefing. Okay, tongs are versatile. Toss a salad, flip a chicken breast, pinpoint a piece of food, stir fry. I disagree. I strongly disagree. It's versatile, but I feel like I would rather have a master of something than a jack of all trades Marty. It's not daily use. What is better than a ladle? You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. The ladle is up to chefing, because what does the job of a ladle better than the ladle? Nothing. And I think if you put the ladle, and I was there for a second. If you put the ladle any lower than chefing, it is skill diff. You're built weak. You're like a stick bug. Drink some milk. I can give you a 4-day pull push split workout. Get better with the ladle. Facts. And on to our last one. I refuse to move the tongs any higher than can be fun, I guess. Wok. Wok is S tier. Wok is S tier. 100%. It's big. It's large. It has surface volume, height, weight. The satisfying when you walk, and the freaking fried rice is just flying up like you're making omu rice in a Japanese alley. It gets super hot, super quick. You can shallow fry, deep fry, stir fry, boil. It does it all. The wok. The only one that I could respect to even touch it is the cast iron. And it's just not the same. Plus, this is so heavy. The ladle gets super hot. Look at this. It has an ergonomically designed phallic handle with a wooden cover. Here, fuck no. You want a cast iron? You put your bare flesh to the cast iron. Here, they care about you. And it's a give-get relationship. And that is why I believe that the wok is S tier. And my friends, that is the official no holds barred. We didn't cut any corners. These are the utensils ranked from dopamine to idiot sandwich. And I rest my case. Finn. Whoo! That was a lot. I'm confident with these though. I'm confident with these choices. I think the only one that might be a little bit iffy is the tongs, but just because of chat's pushback. But that's it, man. That's it, baby.